chart meant to give temporary relief to renters is causing lasting harm for another group.
Some property owners feel like they're getting the brunt of the eviction ban. Target 3 investigator Renee Cooper is back with us tonight. So Renee, do you know how much the eviction moratorium is costing landlords?
$26.6 billion is the number a nationwide group of landlords is suing the federal government over. The National Apartment Association claims the CDC's pause on evictions is unlawful. Critics here at home say the state's moratorium over the last 16 months has been confusing at best. And although there is anecdotal evidence of landlords being owed thousands in back rent, no one seems to know what the total loss is.
There hasn't been any other profession or industry in the United States during this period that has been required to provide services without pay.
As the president of the Illinois Rental Property Owners Association, Andrew Timms has had a bird's-eye view in watching the effects of the state eviction moratorium unfold. He says, contrary to popular thought, it's not just the small-scale property owners that have been affected.
That's going to hit anybody.
The moratorium was written to cover renters as a last resort.
The governor's orders are often not drafted as well as they ought to be.
Art Mann, a longtime attorney in Urbana, represents landlords on a regular basis. He says it doesn't help that the state's eviction orders change from month to month.
It's not always clear what it takes to comply.
It seems simple enough. Renters will not be evicted if they can sign a declaration form saying they had a loss in income as a direct result of the pandemic and have made every effort to pay. But Mann says checks and balances were left out.
I had a situation where it was very clear to me and my client that the person signed this declaration, but it wasn't true.
Mann says up until a few months ago, landlords and their lawyers couldn't contest a declaration in Champaign County.
It talks about that they were affected by COVID. A lot of the people weren't.
Tim says it's fair to say the moratorium created a free-for-all.
A family in the Metro East area that was making $100,000 between the couple and did continue to have their job just stopped paying rent on their home.
And they got away with it.
What else could be done?
Did you have any suggestions of what might have been a better solution?
Actually, one of our members had an excellent suggestion. Have the federal government buy the debt from the landlords.
In this case, the renter would still have an obligation to pay rent each month and wouldn't be protected from eviction.
I think as an industry nationwide, have shown that we are willing to work with those people who have genuine need. And that didn't start with the pandemic.
Tim says he's heard from a number of property owners who have resorted to selling their properties because of a lack of income. He says that sale is usually at a loss. The Illinois Housing Development Authority doesn't have a program to assist landlords. Now tonight at 10, I'll break down where the millions in rental assistance have gone and if there's been any waste. Back to you.